Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Triangle Season 3, Episode 21. And the name of this episode is Spurn. It's Spurn. I'm sorry, Spurn. O.M. motherfucking G. This episode was the shit. I was completely blown away by everything. One, we definitely got a scene that we've all been waiting for. We got that moment, and man, was that moment explosive. I have to say congratulations to this cast because you guys delivered in this episode. I mean, you deliver every episode, but this episode was beyond, was beyond fire. I mean, this was the shit. I was so here for everything. But before I get started, subscribe to brtbtv.com, for those who are new. Subscribe to brtbtv.com and start subscribing to this show and start watching Season 3, because Season 3 is awesome. Oh my God, I am loving every minute of it. And also subscribe to Triangle Fan Club on Facebook. You get to not only get updated events on what's going on with the Triangle family and brtbtv.com, but then you also get people who actually bring up certain theories and thoughts about previous episodes and previous seasons. So it's great, and I definitely implore you to subscribe to brtbtv.com and also the Triangle Fan Club on Facebook. Subscribe to both of them today. Yes. Okay. Forgive me, it's a little hot up in here, but I'm going to get through this because I got to get this out. Okay, the episode opens up with Julian, a.k.a. the pansexual slut puppy, deciding to do a damn full Monty in front of Brandon. Because he first starts threatening Brandon, because Brandon pretty much telling him to get, because he up in their private bathroom taking a shower and shit. Brandon comes in and is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, look, Jabril's still out of town. He's still in Georgia, so what's good? And Brandon was like, get the fuck out of here. And Julian was like, yo, didn't I tell you the next time you talk to me like that, I'm going to make your life a living hell? He says, first of all, my life is already hell. And if you really want to know, I just can't wait to Jabril to find out who you really are. And it's so sad. As bad as Valen is, she don't deserve a fucked up son like you. And you're opportunistic, you're grimy, you're sneaky, and I don't want no parts of you. So get the hell out. This fool decides to drop the towel. We see ass and we see dick, and nice ass, by the way. And then he pretty much tells him, look, I'm the only, and then Julian pretty much tells Brandon, I'm the only real person you got. I mean, because he's kind of like shocked, like, yo, why the hell you revealing it? I mean, this is Brandon. I'm sorry, don't mean that you. Forgive me if I jump around, but this episode was crazy. But Brandon's like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Like, you're related to Jabril. You're related to my husband. What kind of shit is that? He's like, look, I told you I can keep secrets, but and I did tell you that I would help deal with Alex, but eventually, I'm gonna have to take what I want. Meaning he's gonna find a way to give Brandon one way or the other. He's like, you'll see. And then walks out with that nice ass, just all fucking confident. I'm like, Julian, you are about to get fucked up, bruh. You just don't know when to stop. But I have to say, Eric is doing an amazing job playing this character because he is delivering every single time. Because every time I see him, I want to strangle the shit out of his ass. So he's really giving life to Julian, and Eric is doing an amazing job. Boom. So then we also see that Jabril actually goes to see Tessa in Georgia, their old child home. They have a conversation. He's really there, I think, to also work with to do some work with Christian, but it has something to do with Davenport Industries. Tessa pretty much tells him about her meeting with Fallon and that they really had a real mother and daughter moment, and she said that because I think Jabril knew about their grandmother, but Fallon didn't really know everything. She lets Jabril know that she told Fallon everything about their grandmother and that they scattered her ashes, and that was somewhat a way of them healing. And then and then pretty much they also have a conversation. She also has a conversation about. They also talk about Brandon, and pretty much Jabril lets her know that look, Dr. Chase was writing him these prescriptions, and the medicine is not something he's supposed to have. But then Tessa was like, well, that's funny because I've actually seen Dr. Chase after we've had our sessions, as a family, and she's usually by the book. She usually don't be doing no grimy shit, so this doesn't even sound right. But Jabril don't want to fucking hear it. It's like the writing's on the wall, Jabril, but you're not seeing it. I mean, one thing you have to realize that everything ain't always as it seems, but Jabril is not trying to hear it. He's like, look, I don't care. Her name is on the pills, and because she didn't actually tell that it was Alex, she covered for Alex being fucking stupid. You should have fucking sold that nigga out because he was quick to sell your ass down the river, and now you about to fucking fall and lose your career off of that bitch, just like he did Lorenzo. Alright. But then, but when she told him about the medication, she let him know, you need to keep a watch on Brandon. You need to watch his every fucking move. You should not let him out your sight. I mean, because when a person becomes addicted to that, it really can lead to all kind of problems. So she warns him, you need to watch your husband. And then they also, she pretty much also talks about Baron, and she pretty much says that Fallon, before she had left, had said that she doesn't feel something right about the whole situation, but Jabril promised her that he's going to make sure that Baron never hurts her again. Yeah, because Jabril got the ammunition to fuck Baron up. But, yeah, if you saw Davenport Diaries Doomsday, when they had that showdown, oh yeah, shit's about to get real. Now, next I'm definitely going to talk about one of the most explosive scene of this episode, but I'm going to try to work everything else, and then I'm going to get to that, and then everything that ties into it. Then we have a scene with the Hawkins family, being Mason, Melanie. Melanie is still throwing up, having morning sickness. She doesn't want to go into the factory, and she's just eating ice cream, and she just looked like she is like death runned over. Then Mercedes comes in. Mercedes comes in there with a real condescending attitude and kind of talking down to Melanie, which pisses Melanie off, and she just flies off the handles and goes upstairs. And pretty much Mason was like, look, you sound like Mom. Why are you always judging her? Why are you always putting her down and being condescending? Like, so what that she chose to drop out and be a model? We should be supportive. Like, why are you acting like this? But then he decides to leave and says that, look, you need to talk to your sister and you need to make things right. So they actually talk. They're going back and forth and stuff. And then she pretty much says that, Mom and Dad have always favored you. This is Mercedes talking to Melanie. And, if I would have chosen to drop out of school to become a model, they would have thrown me out in the street. But with you, they didn't do that. They have always been supportive of you and all this shit. And then Melanie flipped the script on her and said, bitch, I've always had to live in your shadow. You was always a straight A student. You took ballerina. You excelled in everything, and I always played second best to you. I was never as good as you. So how do you think that made me feel? And then finally Mason came back, and then like afterwards, she ends up getting sick again and runs upstairs. So yeah, it can pretty much be confirmed that yes, she's pregnant, but she's not telling anybody. She's not telling Mercedes, and she's not telling Mason. Mason comes back, he wants to take them out to dinner, and they bond as a family or whatever, but then, Mercedes is like, well, I actually have things to do because I really just wanted to go to dinner with me and you. And Melanie was just over it, and she just went upstairs, and that pissed Mason off. As a matter of fact, it kind of pissed me off too, because I'm like, girl, that's your sister. Stop the bullshit. And she's like, you know what? You really acting like Mom right now. You being real condescending. You're being really nasty to her, and obviously she's sick and all of that. So why are you being so fucking mean? She's like, you know what? Just go. And she pretty much leaves. And And then that's pretty much the end of that scene. Then we got the situation with Derek and Clayton. Clayton, he pretty much, we come to find out that the way he found out Daniel's address was through Clayton. Because remember from the Double Dealings episode, he gave that address to Victoria, and they were able to find Daniel. Well, he got the address through Clayton. So he's pretty much saying that, yeah, I got the address, and I just now know this person ain't gonna fuck with me no more. And then Clayton is like, look, I didn't give you that address for you to do some fucked up shit. I thought you were gonna do the right thing by me to go to the police. And Derek was like, look, I don't see the world the same way as everybody else. Most people would go to the cops and stuff like that. Me, I come from a different way of life. And that leads to them talking about the expose that Clayton is about to write about, male prostitution. He gets Derek to open up about everything, and then the next thing you know, it goes left, where he's asking, he's pretty much, asking leading questions to Clayton, and it's crazy because he's asking kind of like those leading questions like, have you ever kissed a guy before, and and he's saying that let's act like you're a client and let me lead you through everything. So he asks Clayton to take off his shirt, and then he starts rubbing on his chest, and then he's like, kiss me, and they actually start to kiss. But then we actually see that was Derek dreaming about Clayton, and I'm like, and it's funny because I actually been following some of the people in the Triangle fan club where they was like, they were kind of, some people say that they were kind of shocked by that. I wasn't shocked because I kind of saw there was something there, back in the first season of Dark Horse when he gave him the information to find Victoria, and I kind of saw it then, like, oh shit, something might end up growing from that. Something, either friendship or possibly more. But then it's kind of obvious, even it was obvious, when Clayton actually busted Derek, as a John, and he's pretty much saying that, damn, you out here selling your ass, what the fuck is wrong with you? And they kind of got into it. You can tell then that Derek had a thing for Clayton. But he pretty much said that, look, but we actually see that really didn't happen. That just happened in Derek's mind. So Clayton was like, look, I'll come back for the next session, and we'll, you get to open up more about it. So that was the end of that. But yeah, that shit was fucking crazy. Woo! Next thing I'm gonna talk about is Brandon and Alex. Brandon goes to Alex for some more drugs. He puts a drug in his mouth, and then he tells Alex, this is the last time I'm going to fucking see you. And Alex like, no, you're not. You're going to be back. He's like, no, I'm serious. He's like, yeah, and I'm serious. You're going to be back. You're a fucking junkie. You can't you can't function without this shit. So pretty much he's like, in a way kind of saying like, I own you. And then Brandon kind of like jacks him up, and he's like, oh, look at you. And then Brandon's like, you a junkie too. And he says, no, I'm not. I don't need this shit. You, on the other hand, you're going broke for this shit. Oh, never mind. I mean, you're probably, getting money from your rich husband now. And then he pretty much says that, look. And then, like, he pretty much jacked him up, and he was like, look, since this is supposed to be your last time seeing me, bye, bitch. And he was about to knock his ass out, and I was like, Brandon, fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up. But he didn't. But then again, he took the high road and just said that bitch ain't even worth it, because you'll probably kill that. You probably kill, Crouching Tiger, Fuckboy Dragon. Like, you'll completely fuck him up. So it was good that Brandon just walked away. But I was just like, hit that bitch, because Alex has done so much shit. Next, what I'm also going to talk about is, this I'm going to talk about is that Derek gets a visitor after Clayton leaves, and it's Clint's ass. Clint lets his ass know, yo, we still got unfinished business, and I don't give a damn who your mother is. Look, this is what's going to happen. you need to get your mother to buy back this waterfront property, and then after that, we're good. And then he also brought up Ashton. And he says, what the fuck, Clint? Don't play no fucking games with me. He says, look, if you do what I ask, you're off the hook, and then I'll let you know some things about Ashton. I'm like, that motherfucking Clint is so damn relentless and so fucking snaky. It's fucking crazy. I'm just sitting back like, yo, you messy motherfucker. Like, damn, because he already knows that Victoria is not going to take the deal, so now he's going to use her son to get him to try to convince her to take the deal. Like, that motherfucker is just ruthless as shit, and it was crazy. Now, this was the scene that really got me going, and I have to say, I want to give a shout out to Kiko Weinstock, Terrell Ross, and Tammy. I forgot her last name. Forgive me, but the three of them acted their asses off in this scene, and I was so here for it because it's the scene that we all have been wanting to see since season 2 when we found out who Kiko's real father was. So he's there. First it's just Clint and Tammy. Clint and Tammy are going back and forth. You know, she's pretty much throwing jabs, he's throwing jabs, and they just real fucking combative. Because Clint is talking all this shit, but Tammy is that type of woman that ain't gonna let you talk to her any kind of way. She stands in her shit, and she's a bitch that has no problem telling you off. So she was letting Clint have it, and he called her a bitch. She's like, oh, you called me a bitch? No, your mother's a bitch. Your dead mother is a bitch. And then it got real crazy, and then all of a sudden Kiko walked in, and she's like, oh, don't you put your hands on my daughter? He's like, what? Like, yeah. This is your daughter. And I was like, damn. So he finally saw Kiko for the first time. This motherfucker flipped. It was like, nah, this some bullshit. Nah, you hated me that much, Tammy? You would do some shit like this to me? And Tammy's like, I didn't do shit to you. This is who she is. You know, you're supposed to love your children regardless. And you gonna fucking sit here and do this bullshit? You selfish bastard. You've always been fucking selfish, you piece of shit. And he's like, nah, I am not gonna be the father to some nigga bitch. And I was like, oh, you evil piece of shit, Grant? You gonna denounce your own kid? Regardless of what they are, or what lifestyle they choose, you are a parent first. And if anybody who's supposed to give Kiko unconditional love, it's her parents. And eventually he left, and Kiko was broken. You know, she's crying, you know, Tammy's crying, and pretty much she said that, look, maybe one day he'll come around, but just know that I love you, I accept you for who you are. Fuck him if he doesn't want to accept you for who you are. You don't have to change who you are to please him. You know, and she said that he's a selfish person. He was selfish years ago when he left. He's a person that when he don't get his fucking way, he runs like a little boy, and that's what he's always done. So she said that don't beat yourself about it. That's just how he is. But you know, worry about you. We see that she also has a conversation with Mason, and her and Mason pretty much encourages her to just be her, because she's questioning whether she wants to actually transition, you know, having the surgery to become a woman. And he's like, look, you got to do what makes you happy. You can't live your life trying to please your father. Which was a damn good conversation. Then, this was another explosive scene. This was the scene when she actually calls Sean. Her and Sean talk. She opens up about meeting her father. Little do you know, little do you know that Sean works for your father, and he gets that, and he be getting that cock meat sandwich, you know, at any given moment, anytime Clint feels horny. So that's what's going on there. But the good thing about it, Sean was actually there for her, and he really, you know, he really was there to support her, and he still shows that he cared about her. I mean, he was holding her, caressing her, and next thing you know, Kiko made the first move and started kissing on Sean, and Sean's eyes was like, I was laughing like shit. I'm like, DeMarco played the shit out of that. That was really good. And as a matter of fact, DeMarco is another person. DeMarco Monroe did a phenomenal job in this episode as well. So, you know, he pretty much at first is not trying to take it there. He just wants to comfort her. But Kiko's like, no, I miss you. And the next thing you know, they have some raunchy ass sex. I mean, Sean was tearing Kiko's pussy out. And it was just crazy. And then afterwards, he kind of did like this little thing where he kind of like did this oral thing, which really got her off. And she starts questioning like, yo, who the hell you been fucking with? Because you ain't never did that shit with me before. And then next thing you know, afterwards, she kind of pushes him away, and it's like she don't want to do this no more, you know, like she don't want to do this no more, and like she ain't really trying to go there. This pisses Sean off, and he's like, fuck you, Kiko, and they go back and forth. She's like, every time I see you, I think of you and Troy. And he's like, man, get the fuck over it. Shit, you lied about who the fuck you was, and I still accepted you, but I have a fucking mishap with Troy, and you still want to hold that shit against me? You know what, you real fucked up. You a miserable ass bitch. They go back and forth and shit, and he calls her a miserable ass bitch, and I hope you find what you're looking for. I'm done with this shit. And that was the end of that. And then like Kiko just got distraught, because it's like, damn, you in the middle of a triangle, girl, and you don't even realize it, because your father is also fucking your ex-boyfriend. Well, better yet, your ex-boyfriend is working for your dad. Can't wait till that comes out. Then we have the last scene between Brandon and Mason, where Brandon confesses to him that Jabril was trying to set up Jesus with Alex, and Jabril and Mason went the fuck off, and he's like, look, I don't know, I wasn't me, you know, I didn't have nothing to do with it, which he didn't. But then again, it's like at the end of the damn day, like, but then the day she's like, you know, Jabril just was like this, and Mason just shut the shit down. He's like, first of all, y'all real fucked up for this shit, because all you do is fucking defend motherfucking Jabril at every chance you get. He's cold-hearted, he's selfish, he's manipulative, he's trifling. I can't stand his motherfucking ass. Because he said this shit, when you and Jabril was going through your shit, I didn't fucking put you on to some other man. I let you go through your shit until you was ready to fucking deal with it. Like, why the fuck would you even allow some shit like that to happen? Like, even though I know you had no fault in it, but the fact that you support Jabril, and Jabril did some fucked up shit like that to me, that's real fucked up. But then again, it's all a plot for Jabril to take down Mason, because, you know, the bullseye is still on Mason's back. So then he slid. So therefore, you know, Brandon, after really being told off and saying that, you know, you always weak when it comes to Jabril and you always giving in to him, he pretty much lets Mason knows, like, Adonis was right about you. And then fucking Mason's like, and Kiko was right about you, because, you know, Kiko done told him about Alex and shit, and plus, you know he heard, and also the shit he said about Adonis's suicide note, so he threw that shit back, and he's like, yo, get the fuck out. And that was the end of that scene, and I'm like, damn. So it's gonna be more drama now between Brandon and Mason, all on the account of Jabril's ass. And I can just really see that their relationship may get really turbulent coming forward. But, you know, that's my review, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. But also, subscribe to brtbtv.com. I will have that information in the description box. And also, subscribe to Triangle Fan Club on Facebook. And also, like this video, share this video, comment on this video. You know, and definitely I want some likes from y'all. So I will be back with the next episode of Triangle. Again, this was a great, phenomenal episode. The cast did an amazing job, and the writing on this was spectacular. So until next time, everybody, take care.